Hey everybody, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra. Here today with Adam Winch from Defenders USA, Dave Laird from DCS Training, two of my good friends, incredible trainers. There was a kerfuffle on the channel not long ago because of Adam's video from last year's national conference about shuffling your feet, moving your feet, crossing your feet. Today, I'm gonna hurt your feelings again for some folks because I'm gonna talk about how those movements happen.
Thrown targets are lightweight, weatherproof, take thousands of rounds of shooting and make shooting fun. Pick up a set for your next range trip.
So Adam, we had a little kerfuffle here.
Yeah, people got a little bit upset on the internet once again.
Now, the funny part is like 95% of people, you know, the like ratio was like 95%. Most of the comments were good. A couple people were like, never cross your feet. And of course, you know, you were a police officer for what, 11 years?
Almost 11 years.
Yeah, and that is definitely a dogma in police academies.
Very much so, right? In the police world, especially when we were newer, we were taught the stomp drag technique, right? You reach out with one foot and you pull the other foot. Therefore, you never cross the feet. Think of the feet this way, right? This one moves, then you move. This one moves, then you move. But it's not efficient, nor is it fast.
But now, Dave, you were saying something interesting, that this is probably more about liability and running a line.
Yeah, so I primarily do a lot of civilian education stuff, and I've been to a lot of different classes, whether it's law enforcement focused, military focused, or civilian focused. What I see is when you're trying to control a line and you're introducing movement as a new technique, there's a lot of times where instructors are dumbing it down and saying, all right, because I got 10 of you moving simultaneously and I'm the only guy operating the line, I want you guys to step and then drag that foot, step and drag that foot. So they get used to the idea of making movement and doing the technique. But maybe somebody in that class is also an instructor and they've now taken that as gospel, and so that's the way I'm going to teach it from now on. But as you start moving up, I mean, I tell people all the time, all right, get in your stance. Perfect. Now we're done talking about stance, because you've been standing since childhood. The same thing goes for movement. We've all moved or had to move in a hurry. And if you trip over your feet without a gun, let's just check and see if that's the case now first, before we put a gun in your hand and do it. All right, everybody can shuffle and move. I don't care how you do it. Get off the X, make your distance. Short strokes require less than long strokes. So it just depends on what it is that you're trying to do.
So the dogma in this is you never cross your feet, right? Athletes never cross their feet, is especially in that video that we did, right? They said, well, the comments were, athletes never cross your feet. Well, that's crazy, right? You cross your feet a million times a day just walking and turning and pivoting all the time. And now it's just simply fast, efficient movements that are natural. And I think you said earlier when we were talking, dynamic balance, right?
Yeah, you have dynamic balance.
It's just dynamic balance.
Football players and baseball players specifically have a drill where they're moving, you know, sideways, and they're crossing over their feet back and forth, moving right, moving left for that very reason.
Well,
you know, so they get more skilled at it.
So let's talk about this where you can see our feet. My theory, okay? It's football season now, right? You watch a football player, if they need to get to the sideline right now, right? So their speed to the sideline is the number one thing. They'll turn their hips and run hard forward because we're built to move forward. Yeah. However, if he has to strafe, if a football player has to strafe to get somewhere, so he's got to maintain his shoulders towards the line, towards the ball carrier, he's holding a place. He is absolutely not going to do this shuffle step thing. He just won't. It's too slow. What he'll have to do here is, and if I only need to move a little bit, right? So in all my martial arts training and all my combatives training, all those things, if I only need to move a little bit, I will do this thing where I just step and then bring my back foot drag to it. So I'll just come here and step and drag. If I need to move 2 feet, that's how I'm gonna do it. But if I need to move to the other side of Adam, I'm not gonna
quickly.
Yeah, so we're assuming someone's trying to kill us, they're hurrying, we wanna hurry in return, right? I am absolutely gonna be slower going hop, hop, over like this, than if I simply decided and said, I'm going here. It's just faster.
Well, it's natural too, right? I had one instance where this guy literally was trying to kill my partner and I. And we had to do a lot of movement, running, fighting through this whole thing. And as you go back through and we thought it through, you were constantly pivoting and turning and running because you had to go 4 or 5 feet here to these kids or something else. And there was no step, right? It was very fast, dynamic to where you just turned and you ran 2 or 3 steps quickly because it was efficient. It's natural.
Again, we're not talking about running a line of 15 people all doing a movement drill to get some basic movement. We're not talking about moving a foot to get off the X, reset someone's OODA loop. Remember, Colonel Boyd did not like it called an OODA loop, and do all those things. We're talking about, I have to move more than a foot or so, or more than 2 feet, and I need to do so now. Yes. So we're just gonna run a drill here, just a technique thought, and I'm not gonna try to make any dogmatism in any of it. We are going to start with the gun in hand, and then we're going to think, okay, I have to be a foot over when I break my shot. And we're just gonna see how we naturally move our feet. Then we're gonna say, I need to be 2 feet over. And then we're gonna say, I need to be 3 feet over. We're gonna do that and see what it does to us, just to give you some idea of how this works when you're really actually getting after it. And of course, I want you to know, if you have mobility problems, if you are new to this, try it without a gun in your hand first, okay? Don't do stuff like this when you're not confident with it in the movement piece without the deadly force tool in your hand. And listen, if you're new at this thing, or you have a hard time, you're not coordinated or those kinds of things, maybe chill until you get some instruction.
So if I can throw this in, what I do with my students is when I start teaching or introducing movement into the draw stroke, whatever you're doing with a gun, we start out literally dry fire, or we'll go with our notional gun, right, our little finger gun, and then everything's downloaded, and they learn to move with natural movement with empty guns, right? And then
Blue guns.
Yeah, blue guns.
Training
And then
tools.
ultimately it gets to where we can start doing that as they build the confidence and the ability, if they can do so physically, then we start going live fire.
All right, shut up and shoot. All right, so Adam, you're here. Okay. And here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say, you need to get here first.
Okay.
Just need to get, well, let's start at even half of that. We're gonna say you start here, right? So we're gonna set him up 3 different things. He needs to get to that spot, to this spot, he needs to get to this spot. So for this first particular one, I just wanna see what it takes you to get there, get off the line, get a high center chest hit. You can start with the gun in your hand or draw, I don't care.
Okay. Okay, let me know. All
right, shooter ready.
Okay, here we go.
And go. Okay, so easy day, right? He took a single step because that was all the distance he needed to cover. He needed to cover a foot. Okay, so now let's set you up again. All right, let's try again. You feel like for whatever reason, you've got to get to that spot right there.
Okay.
Shooter ready? And go.
Now notice, there was a foot cross there.
Yeah. Dave, what'd you notice?
Yeah, he crossed his feet.
He crossed his feet. Now, he didn't cross them far, but if you were paying attention, he had this little cross as he went because he had to stay to it. Now, I really think, I don't want to prejudice you. Stay here.
Okay.
Okay, so now this time, you are going to come all the way to this third one.
Which is probably about 6 feet, 7 feet?
Yeah, we're something like that, 6, 7 feet. Shooter ready? And go. Huh. That was kind of interesting, wasn't it? So what did you feel there?
You know, I was so focused on just get away. I felt my feet cross, but I don't know if it had happened more than once.
There was like a little shuffle.
So
And then a shuffle.
yeah, so what I saw you do here, and we'll have to go back to the tape, what I saw you do was turn your hips for one good step, then as you came, you turned back and cross-stepped into place.
Okay.
So you actually did a hip turn, and then a cross-step, and then into place.
Well, and so to me, that goes to prove the point. I knew I had to go further. At least my brain said go that way and go a little bit further. So to do it, because I know I'm faster, I turned my hips. And I wasn't focusing on it. I was focusing on my target. But
now,
there you go.
Let's see if we turn him over to the other side, what it does.
Okay.
Go ahead. Same thing to his support side, right? Okay, so now we really need to get over somewhere around here, Adam. We need to really kind of get over and get that guy, okay?
Sounds good.
And go. Shoot the gun. Now, so what did we see? What did you feel?
I felt some movement of my body this way, and I felt like my feet crossed, but I was just going quickly.
So
He made a step, then he had a crossover, then he had a drag.
all right, so now we're gonna get that third one here. We're really gonna get over, right? We really gotta move to a spot.
Okay, so we're going a good distance.
Okay. Yeah, we're going a good distance way over here. Okay,
Okay.
Shooter ready?
Yep.
And go. Okay.
Again, step over, crossover. There was hips.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, I'm not thinking about my feet.
And he's
I'm just
like
going.
Dragging a little bit.
So if you're thinking about your feet, right, you might do that stuff. Now, I want to mess with him just a little bit, and let's do this with the other side. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to step into this spot. And now, Adam, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to the middle ground here, but you purposefully may not cross your feet.
Okay. All right.
Okay? So I want you to practice that drag step or step drag, or you may not cross your feet to get here.
It's not natural, but okay. All right. Okay, here we go.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Go ahead.
I don't like it.
So,
It felt
you
slow.
did, I mean, he did okay.
Yeah.
But it took you an extra step, didn't it?
I don't know. It just felt slow.
What was the sight picture like, acquiring your sights?
It was fine.
Okay.
I mean, it was a little bouncy, but it was fine.
Okay, let's step back to the ready one. I'm gonna slide this just a little so we can see it a little better. Okay, sir, now you gotta get way over here to the hard one.
All right, we're going far this
But
time.
we cannot cross our feet. I want you to kind
No
of see and
crossing.
feel how this goes. No foot crossing.
Huh?
Okay,
All right.
ready?
Yep.
Go.
I don't like it. It's not natural.
Safely holstered up. Okay,
It's
come here
not
and talk with
natural.
me. So what do you mean it's not natural?
It was slow. Let's say that guy's actually trying to hurt me, and I'm trying to move that 8, 9 feet, whatever it is. That was so slow. I literally had to slow down. I had to think to slow down.
So now I'm gonna ask Dave to do this with the gun up and on target, and we're gonna do a little movement, we're gonna do more movement, and what Dave is going to do is, rather than the speed of it, I think, this guy's an athlete, okay? Like, he's the captain of the CrossFit Games and all that stuff, right? You know, so he better strong like bull, and all that stuff. So Dave, what you're gonna look at though is if I'm crossing my feet or not, what is that doing to my sight, picture, and what I can see?
Okay.
And which one feels better. We'd have a hard time doing this on camera for you guys to see it, but I'm gonna trust a longtime instructor to give us honest feedback.
Okay.
Sound
So
good?
you want me to observe you?
No, I want you to have the gun out.
Okay.
And we're gonna do that little a little farther, right? So we're gonna have a 1-step, a 2-step, and a 3-step.
Okay.
Both with a cross.
Okay.
And with no cross.
Okay.
And see what it does to our
Sight
sight picture.
Okay.
Okay. All I want you to do is I just want you to get, you know, over here, right? So this first one.
Yep.
And
Natural
you've got
movement.
so he's a dot shooter, right? So he's got super tons of feedback.
Yeah.
Right? So I want you to have that gun up and on target so you see your dot. When I say go, you're gonna slide over.
Yep.
And do what you need to do, natural movement.
Okay.
Okay? See what it does to your sight picture to get a shot on the target. You ready?
Yep.
Go. Okay, what did you see in your dot?
Big figure 8.
Big figure 8, stayed in there, did okay. Okay, now back to your spot. Okay, now you got to get to the second spot where I am right now.
Keeping the sight picture.
Keeping that, so what I'm trying to do is, you're trying to get here,
Yeah.
and I want to know what it does to your sight picture.
But I can only shuffle.
No, you do whatever works
whatever I
best for you. I want to see what, to get over here is a priority, but you got to keep those sights on the target if you can.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
Shooter ready?
Yep.
And go. Did you see a cross?
Yes.
Okay, so back to your spot.
Bigger figure 8.
Bigger figure 8.
Went
Did
all the way
your
down to maybe where the gun picture was at during the initial movement.
but the circles, but you still saw your dot.
Yep. Still saw my dot.
All right, so now we got to get all the way to here, my friend.
Yep.
Now you got to get all the way to here, so you're trying to keep seeing whatever movement's best for you. You ready?
Yep.
And go.
Multiple foot crossings.
Multiple foot crossings. What did you see?
Bigger figure 8.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to keep it out there. I'm trying to keep it in my vision, but I'm also trying to use my peripheral to make my movement.
Yeah, to see what's going on. Okay, now we're gonna do it again.
Okay.
No foot crossing allowed.
It's hard. It's hard.
Now, so this is what we're saying here. I'm just trying to see from experienced shooters what one's going to work best. So now, again, no foot crossing allowed. We know you didn't foot cross on the first one, so that's going to be the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? But now, this next one here, you got to get here.
Okay.
Okay, you got to get here. This is where you got to get. No foot crossing allowed. Keep that gun up. So I want to see what it does to your sights and see what you can do.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
It's like a broomstick.
Huh? Tell me what. Use more words. It's like
Okay,
a
so-
broomstick. If you want to holster up so you can face the camera, that's great.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm not used to moving with my arms extended anyway and trying to keep the red dot on the target. That alone is like just really odd. But yeah, now, instead of it kind of being like a figure 8, I just see straight left and right movement in the gun. But I'm moving all the way from shoulder to shoulder. The figure 8 kind of really stayed on target.
But here was a white.
Here, I
All right, now we get to do the long one.
Yeah, I had to get it, and it just is weird because I'm not used to doing it that way.
Now it's over here, man. It's way over here. Okay, no crossing feet. Are you ready? Go. Holster up.
It even looks awkward.
I wish I had a second camera so you could see his face.
It's awkward.
What did it show for you?
It's a bigger broomstick left to right.
So I think that these two guys, I would encourage you, go shoot it. If you've got a place like this, we're at Ben Avery Shooting Facilities where we're at today, because we can do this kind of stuff here. And I really think that when I have the ability to move like I want to move, I will do so with less head movement. I will do so where I do see some foot crossing, because that's how it goes. I think the danger that you see in other places as well is they worry that, for instance, if I'm here and you're, this is downrange, and I go to, say, cross my feet and turn this way, that I bring the gun this way with it. I think you saw these guys didn't do that.
We're on the line and we're sidestepping, we bump into each other. So I really think it's a safety measure that's just been overworked.
And so when we're on the range and when we're in a group setting and when we're with beginners, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Once we start getting towards intermediate level shooting, I think we got to let it go.
Yeah, you absolutely have to, because if you're not training the way it's going to end up in the real world, right, and you're always building or myelinating that little stomp, drag thing, that's not how the body's going to act and react under extreme stress and fear. They just aren't. So you've got to build them up to it, and then you got to start allowing them to use their body naturally.